Hello, everyone, and welcome to another webinar at proMX. That's something that we love to do. We like to share the knowledge with you. We like to gather also all the feedback from you and to get to know what are the questions that you are having and are looking the answers for. And that's why also our topic for today. We will be talking about project management and how its future is looking like. And more specifically, we will be comparing three solutions that you are probably already familiar with. And those are project for the web, project online, and project operations. And for that, we have two experts in this specific topic. And one of them is one very special guest, Jeff Einig. He's a senior technical specialist for Dynamics 365 at Microsoft. And also from proMX side, we have Kyle O'Malley. He is technical consultant and he has more a functional consulting background. And I guess that they also want to share some details with you. Therefore, without another ado, to you, team.
Thank you, Katerina.
I'll go ahead and share out my screen here, Jeff, and then if you just want to call out the slides, I'll
sure. Yep.
tab them through at your request.
Yep, we're still at the okay. All right, so thank you everybody for joining us today. Go to the next slide, please. We have an action-packed agenda, but yet we're going to keep it to 30 minutes today so that we can get through all the content that we know that you're looking to understand. As Katerina said, Jeff Einig, Microsoft calls a senior technical specialist. I have a 20-year history of working and implementing and architecting project-based solutions, and look forward to interacting with you today in this presentation, as well as hearing from you after how I can help you. Kyle, you want to move to the next? Go ahead.
I'll introduce myself real quick too. I'd echo the last sentiment that Jeff just shared, right? Really looking forward to interacting with you folks at the end of this presentation. But a little bit about me, Kyle O'Malley. I've been working as a functional consultant for about 7 years now in the partner network. Really been enjoying my time here at proMX, working as a senior functional consultant. And yeah, we're looking forward to sharing some content today, talking project management. So dive in.
Let's dive in. So really 4-part agenda in action-packed in this 30-minute session. First of all, we're going to understand what is the evolving landscape around Microsoft and project management and what is changing in general in project management. So then once we understand what's changing, we're going to help provide some information about what you can change to or migrate to, and then the kind of information that you might need to aid you in that decision-making process. And all along, we are going to be monitoring the chat, and we have people on the chat if you have questions as we go, but we will be having a Q&A at the end of the session. Go ahead and advance the slide, please, Kyle. So the big news is that coming recently off Microsoft Ignite 2 weeks ago, is that in spring of 2024, Microsoft Project for the Web, the Tasks by Planner, and Teams to-do list, our app, Teams to Do app, are all being renamed and put into one thing called Planner. The new Planner is going to bring together the simplicity of Microsoft To Do, the collaboration of Planner, the power of Microsoft Project, and as you'd expect, the intelligence of Microsoft Copilot into a single solution that spans from individual task management to enterprise project management. Later in 2024, the web experience of the new Planner app will be generally available. The good news is if you're an existing Project for the Web customer, you'll get the premium capabilities in the new Planner app at no charge, with your existing subscription. No additional licenses required. Also, the big news I want to report on from Microsoft Ignite 2 weeks ago is that those customers that are on Project Desktop, Project Online, and Project Server will continue to be available. Those products will continue to be available and supported for both new customers as well as our existing customers. There is currently no end of service date for Project Online, contrary to what you might have heard in the environment outside. Kyle, you want to move to the next slide, please? think this is your
Sure thing.
area.
All right. Thanks for the intro, Jeff, and kind of setting the landscape for our discussion today, right? So I think if we identify a reason why we're all kind of circled together here today, is we have a couple technologies that are kind of being pushed to the forefront, and we want to make sure that that information is out there and available to the marketplace, right? Well-informed decisions. So I know we have a lot of decision makers in the room today. As a consultant, I would say that it's my job to try to offer some nuggets of value, what I've seen when I'm working in the market today, right? So we're going to talk about two separate technologies today, project operations, and then also the newly renamed Microsoft Planner, right? So what are we seeing in the industry today? A lot of AI and automation, especially when we're reading the news headlines. We're seeing AI is kind of touching a lot of different areas of our lives, and this kind of segment of technology is no different. So the second part of that second part of that coin, if we flip it over, would be the automation, right? So oftentimes a lot of the solutions that are out there that I see my customers using, maybe a Jira or something like that, we're lacking in some of the automation that kind of automates the administrative daily burdensome tasks for our resources. So we're excited to tell you about how we can alleviate some of those problems. Okay, second, we have project management solutions. We're getting a wider variety of stakeholders that are actually touching these solutions, right? So I have a customer right now. We just finished implementing project operations for them, and they're moving away from kind of a siloed system, if you look at my last point here, into a more cohesive, everybody working in one space type solution, right? So instead of asking for reports to be pulled from completely separate systems, when leadership is trying to get maybe quarter end reporting done, they're not having to ask their project managers to bounce between 2 or 3 different systems to be able to actually generate that reports. Tying back in AI, Copilot is up and running now. And so as we do our work to get that good data to feed it into AI, we're really reaping the benefits of the one system, and then also the good data we put into that one system being able to be operated upon by Copilot. Okay, here we go with project management systems. We're talking about portfolios as our next topic here. And this is really kind of that transition that I've been noticing away from single stack systems. As projects, the demand I'm seeing is decision makers really want to be able to see a portfolio of projects. And what do I mean by that? It would be, projects that are either dependent on one another or related to one another, right? So that could be with the same customer, both external and internal projects. And then finally, eliminating silos, right? So eliminating silos between various business units, creating one source of truth, one database. We're going to dive into that and what that kind of looks like for some of our customers that we've been working on. But essentially, if we're taking a sneak peek into, I think, slide 6 here, we're going to be looking at kind of what it looks like when you have salespeople, project managers, leadership, and our frontline resources, depending on your industry. It might be technicians, engineers, having everybody in that same system and how they can kind of look left and right and get a greater feel for the health of a project. Okay, so solution capability comparison, right? So let's just talk about some of the fun technical nerdy stuff, right? The features that are available to us within project operations and previously Project for the Web, now MS Planner, as Jeff had alluded to. Right, so I will move down project operations first, but I want to bounce in between the scope for each one of these solutions so we kind of set the stage, right? So project operations is definitely going to be geared towards an enterprise level solution and really kind of bringing everyone into one software system. Project for the web, now MS Planner, is going to be targeted more at the project management team. And that's going to be our main group of stakeholders for a smaller team with less complicated projects. So let's go into a little bit of an overview on what project operations is. For those that might not be familiar, and those of you that are familiar, we have value for you coming in a few moments here as we discuss some of the more in-depth topics. So project operations. Microsoft Project Operations is a comprehensive solution designed to support project-focused businesses. From project operations facilitates kind of the full life cycle of an engagement, from the first call on a lead all the way through quoting, project execution, and financials tracking, right? So there's all of our stakeholders kind of working within project operations to facilitate the life cycle that our organization manages kind of their business through. So next we have project portfolio management. Project operations, like we said, allows users to manage groups of related or dependent projects between one another. So we're seeing a lot of demand for that when I'm talking to customers in the field. So we're thinking of project operations kind of as an enterprise level solution, so we can handle contacts, opportunities, accounts, orders, things like that. But it's also very competent in the project management, right? So let's not forget the whole name of the application. It offers robust project planning features. We can schedule our projects in both decentralized or centralized modes, depending on how your PMO is set up. And we have pretty advanced task tracking availability as well. So we've kind of talked about the life cycle, right? So we might have won an opportunity. Now it's been quoted, submitted to the customer. We've won a project and we have a list of tasks that we need to complete for that project. What's really, I'd say the most important bullet point on this whole slide when it comes to project operations is going to be the resource optimization, right? So what this is doing is taking the responsibility and the knowledge out of the project manager's mind, and now project operations carries the responsibility for the following two very important points, which is going to be bandwidth planning and also the skills of the resources that I'm assigning to these tasks, right? So project managers, once you move past a team of 10, it's really impossible to keep track of all the resources that are available in their schedules if we're working across multiple projects. So what project operations will do is track the tasks that are assigned to each resource and then present the resources that would be available for that project manager when they have a task that they need to complete, say, next Tuesday. Now, where we take that a step further would be the kind of skills that we can track around our resources, right? So just because I have a resource available doesn't mean it's the right resource. We can also append skills to each one of our resources so that our project managers can say, hey, I have a task that's going to take 4 hours next Tuesday. I also need someone who has a certain certification or a certain level of engineer. The system's going to go ahead and do all that for them so that they don't have to kind of keep track of everybody's tasks or bandwidth within the organization, and then B, they don't have to know the skill set of each one of the resources. The system's going to track that for them. So I'll move a little more quickly through the other points, but I just really wanted to emphasize that one. Financial management enables the tracking of both product and work-based engagements simultaneously. Invoicing and financial reporting ship out of the box. A main point that I'd want to submit to you out of this kind of bullet point here is going to be, we can handle selling both products and projects within the same opportunity and bring that all the way through the life cycle while project operations is still keeping track of the accounting as we go. Finally, integration. That's why we love Microsoft. All their tools play nicely together. Okay, AI, like I said, Copilot, it's active, it's shipped. Once you put in the work to set up and feed it good data, it's amazing what we can do with it. So if we ever do meet in a workshop together, that'd be something I'd be interested in exploring together. Okay, now for our next one, MS Planner, right? So again, scope, we're thinking more of a project management team. This might be a scenario where we have extensive systems in place and we're just looking for a project management solution to quickly spin up, and we're just kind of focused on servicing our project management department. So MS Planner is going to be great for that. Project for the Web, or MS Planner, is a simplified, user-friendly project management tool that integrates with Microsoft 365 and is designed for smaller projects and teams that require a plug-and-play solution. So it's smaller, it's not incompetent. In fact, project operations borrow some of the functionality that is available within MS Planner. Task tracking, it's going to provide kind of what you're looking for an out-of-the-box solution, right? So it's going to offer a visual way to manage tasks through Kanban boards, timelines, lists of tasks. And while you're moving through that list, you can really append different data points to your list of tasks, start and end dates, dependencies, who it's assigned to, things like that. Finally, scheduling. Project provides basic scheduling capabilities for task assignments and timelines. And the integration, like we said, when Microsoft comes out with a product, we all kind of expect it to play nicely with everything else that they create. And you will not be let down in this one, this instance or situation. Finally, is the simplicity. Like I said, plug and play solution is oftentimes where we're kind of attacking and bringing this MS Planner into the conversation. So that's really a good place to start. All right, so we'll move through here. We're going to look at some benefits real quick. And this is really kind of my thoughts on what would really, if I'm a decision maker, what's going to be the most important to me when I'm making my considerations for these two solutions. Project operations is going to be that comprehensive life cycle facilitation, right? So all of our resources can work in the same system. Having salespeople, project managers, technicians, and leadership all working within the same system exponentially increases our collaboration. And it also increases just, I can open records, I can see what the sales folks have been doing at the beginning of the life cycle of that engagement, all the way through to the accounting folks being able to see in real time as we charge hours to that project, how things are going, what's the health of the project. Then leadership, you can imagine having all that visibility from a 30,000-foot view. It's unparalleled. Okay, next we have customization availability. So this is going to be fairly unique to project operations, and really what we mean by this is we have this system where all of your players can play in one sandbox, but we can control and customize the process to fit your organization's life cycle, right? So we throw around this term life cycle all the time, but all of us do things different. What project operations can do is be customized so that your life cycle is represented within the system. So you log in, it looks like Microsoft, but people would think it's a homegrown solution. You have all your own fields on there, all your own notifications, approvals, reports, things like that. Next, we have the integration, right? So you can build your own or bolt on to existing functionality if your organization has an existing XRM platform. And I use X in like the mathematical sense. So if you have an ERP, if you're using Dynamics 365 F&O, Dynamics 365 CE, or if we even, those who shall not be named, maybe if we even use some Salesforce, you can integrate with those different platforms. And project operations allows us to kind of take what we need from that functionality and just bolt it onto what we already have, right? So that's way cheaper. And also kind of slows our ramp up speeds. Finally, we have budgeting and subcontracting. If we have engagements or projects that require outside resources to complete work, project operations will facilitate that as well. Next, we have MS Planner, right? So we're talking ease of use, number one, far and away, right? So it simplifies project management for smaller teams and less complex projects. We have the integration playing nicely with Teams. You can actually run MS Planner within Teams without even leaving it, so that's great. Visual workflow management, it's very familiar. Anybody who's worked in project management can pretty much land in MS Planner and start using it day one, and that's without us coming in and training, right? So big win there. And finally, there's a migration path, right? So from Project Online, there's a well-established path from Microsoft to migrate to Project for the Web, or now MS Planner. Okay, do a quick time check here, doing good. Finally, we have some comparisons. This is a little bit of a wordy slide, so we're going to send this out to you folks. I'll let you read through it on your own. But really what we're doing here is we're doing, again, a comparison of kind of those features that we had just listed, right? So project sales, moving outside of just a project management solution, project planning, resource utilization, team collaboration, things like that. Okay, we have some more comparisons. These are thoughts that I wanted to get in front of you folks' eyes and in your hands. But again, I don't need to read this slide to you. We'll send that out. Finally, we have making the right decision, right? So if you need help deciding which kind of the scope of your organization and which path would be the best to go down, we have kind of some predefined questions that if we were in a discovery call, this will be what we're asking you, right? So is your organization already using a CRM or an ERP system? If so, we can integrate project operations. Like I said, if you're starting from a good foundation, we can just take what we need and bolt on to your existing solutions. Next, we have, are you using the enterprise resource planning capabilities within your current CRM or ERP, right? So the thought process behind this question would be, do you have a wider process that we're trying to facilitate where maybe sales and accounting are taking part in the actual project lifecycle? Or is this going to be more of a project management kind of heavy focused style of engagement where we don't need some of those larger capabilities of project operations? We might steer you towards MS Planner. Okay, next we have, do your projects require variable billing rates for your resources? So the spirit behind this question would be project operations allows us, just like we can track different skills for different resources within the system, we can also charge different amounts for those resources. Think engineer 1 and engineer 2. One might be $100 per hour on the project. One might be $150. Things like that. Next we have, are your projects a part of a greater process like budgeting, quoting, or opportunity tracking? If you're following the theme here, that's going to point us towards project operations. And then how important is AI to your organization? At this point, you know, with how good Copilot's becoming, I'd say this is not a deciding factor, right? AI is going to be available to you wherever you land. Okay. So if you wanted to move forward with some type of next step, we talked a little bit about what it would look like for MS Planner, right? We have the established migration path, but I felt like there was a gap in my presentation for project operations. So I wanted to put this slide in here to kind of describe what it would look like if you wanted to pursue project operations, right? So these are going to be some free to you workshops that are just going to kind of allow us to dip our toes into what that looks like. Envisioning workshops, our objective is going to be simply to identify your goals. Where do you need to meet your digital transformation? Business value assessment. At a simple level, it's going to be a fit gap analysis of the different solutions that Microsoft has and how they might meet your needs. And then a solution assessment, right? So how technically are we going to use the available solutions, maybe with some customization, maybe using some existing functionality with integrations to create kind of an architecturally sound, cohesive solution. And then finally, a tailored demo, right? Everybody wants to see a little bit of behind the curtain. So we always enjoy doing tailored demos. All right. Do we have any questions? Coming right up on our time here. I can definitely stay over, but.
I know some of the questions have been answered in the chat, but if anyone does have additional questions, we'd love to answer them here.
Yes, in this case, please feel free to raise your hand or drop it directly in the chat. So we will not share the slides, but definitely we will share the recording with you all. Once it will be available, we will let you know.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and drop my email and Jeff's email. Obviously, we'll get that to you folks in a bunch of different ways. We'll throw that in the chat and reach out to either one of us with any questions you have. We'll do our best to get you an answer.
Yes,
We'd love
that's
to
right.
continue this discussion with you.
But before going, first of all, I would like to thank you, Jeff Einig, to having the time today for us, and also Kyle for giving the rich and detailed information. I believe that it was very useful for our audience today. And yeah, as I mentioned, feel free to drop us also your future questions, and we will be happy to make another webinar, another session to answer all of them. And yes, in case you want to stay in touch and stay up to date to our upcoming webinars, follow us in LinkedIn. I will leave the link there. We also have a nice newsletter where we also share updates on Dynamics 365 and everything related to doing business better. So yeah, stay in touch, stay tuned, and thank you everyone once more for staying today with us, and have a great day, evening. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.